Hey folks, Sam Luce here with iZotope. Thanks for checking the video out. Whenever we're mastering, the objective is the same, to craft the best possible listening experience and prepare it for its destination format, whether that be streaming, CD, vinyl. But as the tools and the plugins we use develop, we have new ways of getting the best out of our tracks with spectral processing and ways to isolate vocals or maybe drums within a 2-track master and enhance them separately from the rest of the mix. So here's a step-by-step guide of how to master your track from start to finish using Ozone 11. Many of the techniques we're going to touch upon have been tried and tested, and they're applicable no matter what tools you're using to master with, but there are some really advanced tools in Ozone that will enable you to get to the sound you're looking for faster. At the end of the video, I want to show you something that really helps me zone in on exactly what I'm achieving in a master. Jump over to iZotope.com to get a free trial so you can follow along. There's a link in the description. Let's check it out. So as I always will when I'm mastering, I've spent the last little while just listening to some music, acclimatizing my ears to my listening space, and this is really important to get us in the right mind frame to master. I'm happy with my mix. I've exported it so there's no processing on that master bus. I want a clean slate for mastering. It's ready to go. Before anything, I just want to play you the mix of this track versus the final mastered version that we're going to achieve by the end. I'd recommend grabbing some headphones or listening to this through a set of speakers to get the full effect for this. Check it out.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories low, memories show all of those scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
I want to take you through the steps that I would take when mastering a track and discuss the impact that each module in Ozone is going to have on the master. We're not talking about creating a full album or collection of works, that's for another time. This is purely about sonically mastering a single track. If you're able to identify what needs to happen to one mix to make it a master, then you can apply the same logic to the next track you're working on. And with Ozone, you have the tools to make these changes. But I also want to preface this video by saying something about how I use Master Assistant. I love it when Master Assistant does a load of the heavy lifting for me and then hands me the reins. It gets me to a great point to start from, then allows us to tweak settings and do whatever we want to within the modules it's chosen. Maybe it's absolutely nailed it and you love the way it sounds, or maybe you want to take over from where it left off and tweak a few settings here and there. Then you can take over and make changes that fit what you're hearing. This video isn't going to be one of those run Master Assistant, set it to -14 LUFS for streaming platforms and send it out the door. It's not about that. In fact, more and more I'm hearing engineers looking past this magical -14 LUFS for streaming platforms. Really, the ultimate test is what we're hearing. If it sounds right, the chances are it is right, and we're not straying too far from the mark. So if you want a detailed look into how to prepare your master for streaming platforms, check out the video at the top right now. Now we've taken a listen to the track, and generally I like to make a few notes on what I'm hearing and how I'm going to enhance this track. I'm going to ask Master Assistant to take a listen for me as well and suggest a potential processing chain. So Ozone's given me an EQ to start off with. It's given me a few boosts, a few cuts that match kind of the tonal curve of what it's hearing. On the EQ, we can now go to transient and sustain mode as well. So we can EQ the transient separately from the sustain. Impact is going to deal with, as the title says, the impact of the track, the compressed nature of it or the expanded version of it. So it's really going to add some nice punch to the track overall. Then the imager is dealing with width. Stereo width. Here we can see that it's added a significant amount of stereo width to the high end, so that's just going to broaden the high frequencies and make them kind of wrap around the listener. Then clarity is like a mastering EQ, but a clever one that's really going to listen and adapt as the track goes on. It's not just a static EQ, it's not just dynamic, it really changes frequency and changes amplitude over time and reacts to the track that you're playing. Then stabilizer is similar in the sense that it's a tonal tool, but it's about getting that track to match the genre that you're working in. It's about applying sympathetic cuts and sympathetic boosts dynamically to fit in the track. Then dynamic EQ is going to work in tandem with maximizer. You can see a couple of these cuts here. These are significant areas that are going to make the limiter work too hard. So it's just going to dynamically duck them out so the maximizer isn't working too hard and we're not getting too compressed. We've got a little bit of gain added from the maximizer and the upward compressor, which is a new feature, which we're going to take a listen to.
Memories, no memories, show all of those scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
Overall, I really like the sound. It's brighter, it has more impact, and it just feels a lot more complete. But let's see if we can fine-tune things a little bit. First of all, I'm going to give Ozone a reference to compare my track against. This reference is by the same artist, and I've gathered the information for this reference using Audio Lens. If you've not used it before, Audio Lens is a tool that allows you to capture the sonic footprint of another piece of audio, save a snapshot of that, and then load it up into Ozone. Audio Lens can capture tone, frequency curve information, dynamics, width, and loudness information to help you closely match your reference. So after I've run Master Assistant, I can just go into the assistant view, and anything that I've captured using Audio Lens will be listed here in my custom targets. So instead of just matching a specific genre, it's actually going to match to a specific track that I can play in and say, I want my track to sound like this. The great feature in Ozone 11 is the Master Rebalance tool, which allows us to rebalance the mix even at the mastering stage. In this module, you can alter the level of the vocal, drums, or bass to rebalance the mix before it meets the mastering chain. I'm going to check here if there's anything that would benefit the track. Sometimes it's hard to know whether bringing the vocal up or down is necessary for the track until you kind of hear it in context. So over on my chain, I can bring in a new module, and this is Master Rebalance. Now, everything in Ozone works from left to right, so I'm actually going to be rebalancing here after the limiter, so I don't want to do that. I want to bring this back to the very beginning of the chain so that it's working from the very start. So let's just see how it would sound if I brought the vocals up just a touch.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories, no memories, show all of those scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
I actually kind of feel like the mix was pretty bang on. I don't personally feel like in this processing chain, I need to change the relative levels of drums, bass, or vocals. But if you do, then this is a great place that you can do that. You can bring the vocal up, bring the vocal down, or do the same thing to the bass or drums just to get that perfect balance before you're moving on throughout the chain. A lot of the modules can be accessed from the assistant view, and these controls are kind of like an intensity for that particular module. So if you want to make quick changes, it's worth sticking around in this view to see if you can make the changes you want without going into the detailed view. The equalizer scale, for example, this is going to alter how much the EQ curve affects the audio. So in the middle, it's the amount set by the Master Assistant. As I bring this up, you'll see that by flicking over to the module chain, the EQ curve has got broader, the cuts have got deeper, and the boosts have got higher. Going back, you can see if I bring that down, it's going to have got far gentler. So it's kind of like an impact for that, and you've got the same kind of idea overall for dynamics, for width, clarity, and the stabilizer. So you've got easy access to those features straight from the assistant view. So I think I want to dig in a little deeper to the impact module. First of all, this is straight after the EQ. I can use this in tandem with the EQ. I can just go back to any point in the chain and kind of make EQ changes or make impact changes whenever I want. So impact is all about compression and dynamic processing. With the sliders at the bottom half, so below zero essentially, this is compression. And then anything above is going to be expansion. So if I link the bands and just drag them all up, you're going to hear the whole track get less compressed. It's just going to open up dynamically. And it's up to you what you want for your track. For this track, I think it sounds good with the impact where it is, but just as a point of reference, let's see how we can expand this track a touch.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
You can hear that even more if you go into single band mode. So I'm going to unlink the bands and just bring this mid-range up. You're just going to hear the mid-range kind of open up a little bit when we go to the expansion half of it.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
This track really did need brightening. It was a well-balanced mix in the first place, but it just needed some overall definition adding, which is exactly what the clarity module has done. So clarity here is affecting everything above the kind of 300 Hertz-ish area. Because clarity and the overall EQ curve are closely matched, I'm going to go back to the assistant view and adjust the amount that the clarity module is affecting the track so that I can just easily grab the EQ scale as well. These two are going to be working together, so I want to have quick access to both. Let's just bring that equalizer back up to where it started, and the EQ is really dealing with the brightness. So if you look at the EQ module, it's really dealing with this mid-range and then a cut in this really upper area. I might not want to keep that. I might want to make it slightly different, but let's just go to the clarity amount and bring that up, and it's just going to give us exactly what it says, a bit more clarity.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
I actually think that in this instance, I'm going to go to my EQ. I'm going to bring this down a touch and allow the clarity module to deal with the majority of that kind of impact in the mid-range, so that when I bring this EQ up, it's not going to be bringing that mid-range up as much. I want the clarity module to be dealing with that high end.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down. Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
So there I'm really dealing with the high end. And when I say high end, I mean high mids and high end. I really want to make sure that that's cutting through enough. I want to make sure that it's bright enough so that it sounds like there's a decent amount of brilliance there, but I don't want it to get too aggressive. So we're dealing with the brightness, and that's exactly what I kind of felt from the Master Assistant version of the Master. I felt like it was brightening things up nicely, but I feel like I want to get more of the brightness from clarity and slightly less from the EQ. So that's exactly what I've done there. The Imager is one of Ozone's best known and best loved modules for the simple reason that it just works. And here the track has some widening, mainly in the higher mid-range upwards, but also a touch in the mids and the low mid-range. So let's take a listen to this before and after to hear what it's doing. Remember, this is matching the width to the reference gathered from Audio Lens, so it's matching the width of that track. We may want to change things slightly, but we can do that. That's up to us.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the
I like what it's doing. I like how it's broadening stuff. I feel like it would be beneficial to bring this band down a touch. So I don't think that 10K is necessarily where it should be doing the most kind of widening. I think that we can bring that down a touch so it's getting a little bit more of the sibilance of the overall mix, and then it's going to be broadening that out. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm going to be leaving this the same, but just making the frequency a little bit different. So let's go from around 6K, and then let's bring this one down. So what I've done there is I've brought down the frequency so that this band at the end, this high frequency band, is broadening a considerable amount, but it's broadening more. Therefore, I don't need to broaden as much in this kind of area. So let's now take a listen to this, and we should hear that this is nice and broad in the high frequencies, but we're getting a little bit more of that kind of crispness of the high end in the far left and right channels as well.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting some more out of the hi-hats there. I feel like that's kind of spreading out a little bit and just bringing the overall top end of the hi-hat a little bit more into the stereo spectrum. So width is a consideration when we're mastering, and spreading out the high frequencies can be a really great way of just broadening that stereo width and making stuff so that it's really wrapping around the listener. If we're doing that in the bottom end and in the low mids, then we have to be really careful about the destination format. If we're going to vinyl, this can be an issue. But the high frequencies are kind of fair game. And if we want to create a bit more of a wraparound experience, then broadening the high frequencies in the left and right in the stereo spread is a great way of achieving that. Stabilizer is an intelligent and adaptive mastering EQ. And what that means is that it's not just a static EQ like a regular EQ. It's not just an EQ that brings bands up and down depending on amplitude like a dynamic EQ. It listens to the input and alters gain and frequency according to what it hears. So you're going to see lots of movement on this display as it responds to what we're playing in.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down. Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul.
Okay, so we've got two different ways of doing this. We've got shape and cut. I've actually gone for cut here because I think that Clarity is dealing with the mid-range and the high end pretty well. It's brightening things nicely. So I don't personally feel like I need to do too much else to that area. And cut is a way of smoothing things out. It's a spectral process that uses a lot of bands to really just zone in on problem areas. And we can affect the lows, mids, and highs differently here. Personally, I don't think that we need to do anything to the lows, so I'm just going to bring that scale all the way down to 0. The mids, we can maybe deal with that slightly less, maybe go to 50% there. And I'm kind of using this as a de-esser. We've added a load of clarity, but I think that it just needs to have a little bit of softening on that high end. And we may want to move these modules around. We may want to put stabilizer before clarity, so we're kind of de-essing slightly before we're then brightening that high mid range. But let's give it a shot. With it in the regular order first.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
Okay, I feel like we're getting a little soft on that top end, so let's just bring them down just slightly and bring the speed down as well. So the speed is just how fast it's going to react to that, but in this instance, high frequency stuff. Let's move stabilizer before clarity and see if we can hear any discernible difference. There may not be a massive difference, but it's worth trying that out first of all.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay
Yeah, I feel that's actually a lot more gentle. So having stabilizer before clarity, especially because we've got it on cut, it's the old thing of getting rid of what you don't want before adding what you do want. So we're dealing with high end here. We're dealing with softening high end. Clarity is doing a great job of brightening stuff up, but we're just using stabilizer on its cut function to bring down those S's slightly and deal with that high end sibilance before we then brighten the whole thing. Master Assistant didn't actually do a massive amount to the bottom end of the track in terms of spectral processing. It actually applied a cut to the low mids to clear up some of that muddiness, and I do agree that it needed cleaning up, especially in the way that I've slightly altered the EQ now. I think the track is a lot cleaner as a result, but I'd like to hear some more weight in that low end, and we can do that with low end focus. So I'm going to bring low end focus into play, and I'm going to just put this early on in the chain, because I think that having a good stable kind of low end from the off is a great thing to have. So we can do a couple of things here. We can apply this to the transient information and then bring this up, or we can apply it to the more sustained features of the sound. So this is really going to be dealing with the bass instruments, and this is going to be dealing with the drum bass instruments, the transient kind of information. If there's anything else that isn't a drum but is transient, it's going to deal with that as well. We can bring up the gain of that particular instrument, and we can increase or decrease the contrast. So I think it's best if I just play you what's going on and we get to a good point, and then I kind of explain what I'm doing.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories low, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
So we're just dealing with the richness of the low end there. We're not necessarily adding too much to the kick. We're just dealing with the overall kind of sustained low end. As I brought that out, it just got a little bit thinner. It didn't quite sound as weighty. We're coming from a great mix here, one that's got a nice amount of low end, so we don't need to do too much. We're not needing to add a massive shelf in the bottom end. We're just adding a little bit to the richness, the overall kind of weight of the track. And if I was doing that on the kick, on the transient stuff, then we'd get too much kind of punch. We'd get too much kind of pushing through, which is then going to affect everything else further on in the chain, the impact module and the limiter as well. So I just want to enhance that bottom end a little bit, give it a bit more weight, a little bit more warmth. And I think that's what we've achieved here. Let's take a listen before and after.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories low, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
Overall, I love what Master Assistant has done to shape and enhance this track, but I feel like I need to affect the vocals separately from the rest of the master. And with stem focus, we can do just that. We can make Ozone apply its processing to different portions of the track. It can work globally on everything, just the vocals, just the bass, or just the drums. I like what's being done to the track as a whole, so I don't want to change that, but I want to alter the frequency curve of the vocals. So I'm actually going to put another instance of Ozone before the main instance that's doing all the heavy lifting. So in this one, I just want to add an EQ, and I want to apply this to just the vocal. So previously we were on the full mix. We can do this to drums, we can do this to bass, and we can do this to a vocal. What I'm actually looking to achieve here is my track sounds good. I like the master. We've dealt with the brightness. We've dealt with the overall kind of impact, the compression of everything, and it's in a good spot. But I feel like by brightening the overall track, we've actually made the vocal a little bit harsh. And we've dealt with that quite significantly using stabilizer, but I'd like to add a little bit in the bottom end to the vocal, maybe around 200, 250 hertz, just to give it a little bit of thickness. We've taken out some thickness using the EQ on the track, which it needed, but the vocal didn't need any taking out. So we just need to add a little bit more back in. So we're actually putting that into the track before we go into the main Ozone mothership. So let's do it. let's go for a little bit more in the bottom end.
Talk memories, walk memories, true memories, false memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories, no memories, show all of those scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down. Memories, talk memories, walk memories, true memories, false memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories, no memories, show all of those scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
So to my ear, adding 2.5 more dB to the low end of that vocal is improving things. It's thickening it. And it's not one of those night and day things. It's more of a feel thing. It's more of that no longer sounds thin. That normally just kind of sounds as it should. Typically, if I've got a track like this, then I'd maybe deal with some of the harshness on the vocal, but I feel like Stabilizer has done a good job of that. So I'm just looking to add a little bit of bottom end to the vocal using stem focus, and we can do that easily. I want to take a look at the maximizer at the end of the chain and also briefly see what the dynamic EQ is doing, which I mentioned earlier, but these two are actually working together. So dynamic EQ here, if we watch what's going on, then we'll see that we're just punching down slightly and ducking certain frequencies just so that it's not getting in the way and not being too loud for the limiter.
Memories, talk memories, walk memories, true memories, false memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down.
So we can see that it's just ducking down. It's maybe in the kind of vocal or maybe in the snare a little bit, and it's just recognizing that the limiter is going to be working a little bit too hard if we're in that region. So we don't want to be giving it too much because it's then going to compress. So we can just deal with it before it gets to the limiter. Now the final limiter is actually basing its loudness off the reference from Audio Lens, and this reference is pretty hot. You can see it's learnt the input reference as -7.5. So although we're not using that -14 LUFS as a gold standard, I think it's important to strike a balance between loud and powerful and dynamic and balanced. So when I A/B between the mix and the master, although we've made vast improvements all over the track, I feel like we're clamping down on the transients a bit too much, so we can approach this in a slightly different way. So let's just put gain match on so that the input and the output are going to be matched. When I bring this limiter on and off, we're not going to be adding any significant amount of gain here. We just want to hear exactly what's going on. So when we bypass, I'm just going to bypass the maximizer. I'm not going to bypass absolutely everything because I want to hear what's going on with the rest of the processing chain. I just want to hear what I'm actually losing by adding that limiter.
Memories, talk memories, walk memories, true memories, false memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories, no memories, show all of those scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
Okay, so I actually like what it's doing overall, but I feel like it's just clamping down on that bottom end a bit too much. It's just clamping down on those transients in a way that I wouldn't necessarily do on purpose. So let's look at doing it in a slightly different way. So we've got a significant amount of gain being added here, 8.7 dB. I like to strike a balance between limiting and soft clipping. So soft clipping is going to add a little bit of gentle kind of rounding of the more transient information before it reaches the limiter. So it's working in a similar way to what the dynamic EQ is doing, is kind of preparing it. But the stuff that we've got down the bottom here, soft clip, upward compressor, and transient emphasis, they're just kind of one knob features that just kind of work. And soft clipper is just going to allow us to get a little bit more loudness, and we can use this in conjunction with the gain, but we can bring the gain down a touch and just give it a little more soft clipping. So let's bring this gain down to, I don't know, maybe 4, and then let's just bring in a little bit more soft clipping. So we're at gain matched again, so we should just hear the difference in dynamics, not a difference in volume.
Memories, talk memories, walk memories, true memories, false memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories, no memories, show all of those scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you
Okay, so I think we're getting a little bit less loudness now because these have kind of come down a little bit less. Although the reference, the input learned was 7.5, we're not necessarily releasing something that's on the same release as that. This is not about a body of work. This is just about one. So we don't necessarily need to match that absolutely perfectly. We're taking it with a pinch of salt and we're saying, right, what works for this track? And in this particular track, having that amount of loudness is detrimental to the low end. So we're not going to give it that amount of loudness. We've given it a bit more soft clipping, and then transient emphasis I've raised a little bit just to give it a little bit more punch. And with the amount of gain that we've got there, I feel like we've struck a correct balance between something that's loud and powerful, but something that's also got dynamics to it. Now, one thing that I love in mastering is really going with the flow, making changes, getting the track to a good place, but making those final decisions that will get the best out of what we have. Sometimes though, it's easy to get stuck down a rabbit hole of process after process, and you can lose sight of what's important. Perhaps you've got an issue with the master that you can't quite figure out what that issue is, or maybe you just want to hear exactly what each module is doing and how it's affecting the master. So for this, you've got a delta button now in every single module in Ozone 11. So let's see what the delta button actually does. So you can see the delta button here in the EQ, here in the low end focus, in impact, it's down here, and there's always going to be a delta button. And this is going to be the difference between the input and the output. So essentially what you're adding or what you're taking away, you can monitor just that by clicking the delta button and pressing play. So let's go to impact for a start. Let's do the delta, and we're going to hear just what's being added. So you can hear that's kind of squashed. So a good amount of squash is being added there. And you'll hear that as I link these bands and bring them up to expansion mode, you'll hear just what's being added there. So a little bit more point on the transients. It's a really interesting gut check, and I love it on clarity because it just shows you exactly what you're doing. It shows you exactly how much brightness you're actually adding. I feel like the track has really come on leaps and bounds. It's gone from a mix that, although well balanced, needed some extra life, and that's exactly what I've been able to do using Ozone 11. Before I send it off, I need to check how it's going to sound in its destination format. If this is CD, then there's no issue. Well, we'll just get the full quality WAV file in CD format, so that's 16-bit. But if it's streaming, then I can use Ozone 11's handy codec tool to hear exactly what it'll sound like on different streaming platforms. And this also has its own kind of delta button called solo artifacts, where we can hear just what's going to be lost in velocity compression process. So if you want a little bit more information, a bit more of an in-depth look about how this all works, you can check out my video at the top on how to prepare your music for different streaming platforms. So let's go over to the codec tool here, and we can see that we can audition a few different codecs. So let's go to MP3 and let's go to something really dirty. Let's go to 96 kbps, so a really low quality MP3. Let's see what it's going to sound like, and let's solo those artifacts to see exactly what we're going to lose. You'll probably hear a bit of a washy top end, something a little bit underwatery that's kind of really softening the top end and the transients.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away.
And as I go up through the kind of qualities, as I come up from 96 up to 192 and then to 320, you're going to hear less because less is being taken away. So although we're saying that meters aren't everything and that we shouldn't go for a specific LUFS level or everything is gone, we can just have a quick check in Insight and see what our loudness is like. So remember, this is a chorus, this is not the full track, so take it with a pinch of salt and We're going to be achieving less than that minus 7.5 from the reference, but I think we've got a decent competitive loudness.
Memories talk, memories walk, memories true, memories false, memories washed away. It's okay to let them hold you down. Memories know, memories show all of the scratches on your soul. It's the debris that weighs you down.
If you've got anything that you love to do when mastering, then I'd love to hear about it. Did this step-by-step guide help you out? What are some of the modules or steps that you use in Ozone to master your tracks? Let me know in the comments below. Have a great time mastering, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.